The man had a gun pointed at my wife's face, hands trembling, eyes bulging with a ridiculous sense of self-importance. Right there in our front yard. And all because she had jogged past the HOA clubhouse without carrying any identification. What he didn't know, and what I would have paid good money to see register across his face, was that the woman he was trying to threaten with a knockoff Glock was Major Evelyn Carter, an active Delta Force operator, who had returned from a classified mission just 2 days prior. She hadn't even unpacked her field gear yet, and now here she was, standing in front of a wannabe rental cop holding a weapon sideways like he'd learned it from some terrible, straight-to-DVD action movie. I knew she could have disarmed him with nothing more than a pine cone and a zip tie, but for once she actually gave the guy a chance to back down. He didn't take it, and that's when things got real. We had moved into the Willow Creek estate, precisely to avoid noise, chaos, and unnecessary attention. Ironic, really, considering my wife once diffused live explosives during a thunderstorm while rescuing hostages from a militant stronghold. She wanted peace, quiet, a neighborhood where she could jog freely, garden in the mornings, maybe start Asmal chicken coop. Meanwhile, a proud cybersecurity nerd and confirmed indoors man, had simple needs. A solid basement and excellent fiber internet. We found the perfect place, or so we thought. Private, secure, family-oriented community tucked just outside the city. Brochures were glossy, full of words like sanctuary, community spirit, and family-friendly events. Nowhere did it mention cosplay security patrols acting out tactical fantasies with golf carts. The warning signs were subtle at first. Format black golf carts, lined up outside the HOA clubhouse, each emblazoned with Neighborhood Safety Division in white block letters. They looked like SWAT units if SWAT units needed cup holders and garden gnome decals. One even had flashing blue lights zip tied to the roof. At the time I thought it was cute. Maybe for Halloween festivities or neighborhood parades. I was wrong. Dead wrong. These people took it seriously. Deadly seriously. They tried to ticket homeowners for walking their own dogs off leash on their own property. We kept to ourselves. The first week Evelyn, fresh from deployment, busied herself organizing the garage and setting up perimeter cameras out of habit, not paranoia. It helped with her transition, she said. Routine, structure. Meanwhile, I buried myself in code, pretending not to notice the oddities multiplying around as the HOA president, Margaret Hastings, introduced herself to us within the first 24 hours, laminated badge, 3 clipboards, and the officious smile of someone unaccustomed to being questioned. He declared herself available 24/7 for community needs, and handed us a 74-page booklet of neighborhood rules. I flipped through it half jokingly, but quickly realized it was no joke. Gems included no drying laundry outdoors, grass must not exceed 2.75 in height, and my personal favorite, residents must not appear intimidating during recreational activity. When I asked what intimidating meant, Margaret smiled tightly and said, "You know it when you see it." That was our first real red flag. Evelyn, ever the diplomat, smiled and thanked her politely, like she hadn't just spent the last month extracting hostages under enemy fire. She had a gift for that, blending in diffusing tension with a smile, which made what happened on day 8 all the more staggering. It started like any other morning. Evelyn laced up her sneakers, pulled on her favorite hoodie, popped in her earbuds, and set out for a light jog around the block. I made coffee and booted up my computer to tackle a client server breach. Then the motion alert from the street-facing security cam pinged on my phone. I glanced at it absently, expecting maybe a package delivery or a neighbor walking their dog. Instead, I saw 2 of the Neighborhood Safety Division's golf carts parked diagonally across the road, effectively blocking it. Evelyn stood perfectly still between them, hands raised slightly in front of her, a pot-bellied man in a tactical vest, his pistol leveled at her chest, shouting something I couldn't make out through the video feed. I dropped my coffee mug, sprinting outside barefoot. I arrived just in time to see 2 more officers flanking him, looking bewildered but determined to mimic authority. Evelyn remained calm, breathing slowly, eyes fixed steadily on the weapon aimed. There I started forward, ready to shout, when I caught the smallest twitch of her right hand. Subtle, controlled, a warning signal. The pot-bellied man, Officer Jeff Turner, as I would later learn, was ranting about suspicious activity running without proper ID and failure to comply with HOA security standards. I blinked at him in disbelief. Who the hell jogs with a badge pinned to their hoodie? Evelyn's voice was low. Even she asked if he was law enforcement. Turner puffed out his chest and said, "We're HOA police. That's higher than, city cops here. That a faint smile ghosted across Evelyn's lips, the kind she usually reserved for enemies who didn't realize they were already beaten. She gave him own last chance. Sir, I respectfully request that you lower your weapon for your own safety. He refused, and then it was over faster than I could track. One blink the gun skittered across the asphalt. Next blink. Turner faced down, one arm, locked in an expertly executed compliance hold. She hadn't even broken a sweat. The rail police arrived within minutes. Turner and his buddies howled about assault and resisting HOA authority. The lead officer took one look at Evelyn's credentials, the real ones, and nodded once. "Ma'am, you're free to go," he said almost respectfully. The HOA clowns weren't so lucky, and Margaret Hastings, when she arrived 10 minutes later to find her captain cradling a bruised ego, looked like someone had run over her pet peacock that should have ended it. It didn't. Instead, Margaret declared war not just on Evelyn, but on both of us. She had no idea. She was poking a hornet's nest. Evelyn wasn't. Just another quiet suburbanite. She trained soldiers who trained soldiers. She orchestrated entire village reclamations in war zones. Margaret thought she ran this neighborhood. Evelyn had retaken cities. The emergency meeting was scheduled for 700 p.m. by 6:30. Willow Creek Estates resembled the tailgate party. Lawn chairs, coolers, even popcorn. Someone brought nachos. Teens live streamed the whole thing. Margaret stormed into the clubhouse wearing a khaki vest, dripping in HOA pins and a Bluetooth headset. Worthy of an airport. Tarmac behind her. A whiteboard read emergency response strategy. Stick figures depicted a threat actor complete, with devil horns and a heroic defender who bore an uncanny resemblance to Turner, only with Schwarzenegger-sized biceps. The meeting opened with Margaret dramatically announcing, "Neighbors, it is with a heavy heart that I inform you of a violent assault on one of our peacekeepers." Peacekeepers. Not volunteers. Not safety officers. Peacekeepers. Like, this was the UN. Turner sat slouched on the stage, arm in a sling, looking like he'd eaten a bad burrito. I raised hand. "Yes, Mr. Carter." Margaret called, voice dripping condescension. "Quick question, IC'd. When exactly did jogging with a Fitbit become probable cause for armed engagement?" The room chuckled. Margaret did not. Things spiraled rapidly when the hacked body cam footage surfaced. A teenager had pulled it from the officer's cloud sync device. The video left no room for debate. Evelyn jogging peacefully, Turner screeching up in a golf cart pulling a weapon, and Evelyn disarming him with clinical precision. The silence afterward was deafening. Someone in the back muttered, "We should be paying her HOA dues." Margaret sputtered about unauthorized footage and deep fakes, but it was too late. The dam had broken. Neighbors demanded audits. Questions flew. Where were the dues going? Why did we need a private militia with golf carts and zip-tied sirens within days? Evelyn launched what she called Operation Curb Appeal, a campaign of pure factual information distribution, flyers listing HOA spending discrepancies, signs parodying Margaret's reign, door-to-door conversations, not with anger, but with proof. Margaret panicked. She tried fines, threats, new bylaws invented overnight. One of it stuck because while Margaret flailed, Evelyn operated with the steady patience of a field commander peeling apart enemy logistics quietly, methodically, irrevocably, and when the federal audit landed, prompted by Evelyn's meticulous reporting, Margaret's empire collapsed. There's more, of course: golf cart chases, courtroom showdowns, desperate live stream rants. But that's another story. For another time. The important thing is this: today, Willow Creek Estates is peaceful again. Kids ride bikes, gardener's garden, no one measures grass height with a rule. Evelyn, she still jogs every morning. No clipboard patrols, no threats, just the rhythm of sneakers on pavement, breathing free. And Margaret Hastings, well, last I heard she's selling timeshares in Arizona. Because when you try to run a dictatorship in a neighborhood filled with real heroes, you don't just lose, you get disarmed politely and professionally by Delta Force.